Everyone, it's KIREI here for Hey Little Magpie, and I have a brand new layout using the colourful Simple Stories Sweet Summertime collection, and I'm also using quite a few elements from the Hey Little Magpie July Embellishment Kit and Hey Little Magpie A5 stencil called Distressed Shards. Okay, so I'm actually not using that much pattern paper in this one. I'm just going to use a number of strips. So I've just pulled out the papers. I've got the 4x6 elements, which is the green, the happy vibes, this one here, which is the orange, the sun-kissed smiles, which is the lime, and then I'm just going to layer them up. I mean, and create, like a vertical design. It is something I've done before in the past, and I really like how it looks. So I've got 3 photos, and I wasn't sure if I could make it work. I didn't have the smaller photos, which I sometimes use, but yeah, I decided to stick with just the 2. So there are a couple of photos from our holiday back in February to Lanzarote. It's a bit of a favourite place. It's our sort of chill out place. So yeah, I'm enjoying a lovely frozen cocktail by the beachfront in Playa Blanca. So yeah. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm just placing all my bits and pieces, and all of those pieces are actually from the embellishment kit, and it's fabulous. It's summer related, and there's all sorts of bits and pieces. I love the giant fabric patches, the flip flops, and the starfish. And then there's little paper clips. I've got a crab and the fish, and then there's little buttons and little charms. There's silver charms, there's starfish. I think I'm going to have, there's a crab there. And then there's like other starfish sort of buttons as well. So yeah, all sorts of bits and pieces, which I thought, right, I'm going to get those onto this layout because I think it lends itself particularly well. And also with all it's colourful. My photos are bright with the colours of the sky and the sea. And then I've got the other colours in the pattern papers as well. So they really complemented it perfectly. So then I'm bringing in the ephemera. This is the bits and pieces ephemera from the Simple Stories collection. And I'm just pulling out the pieces that I think are going to work for me. I don't need, to be honest, I don't need too many. I did bring in the florals here, thinking I could add some elements of that. But actually, I don't. I just add some of the tiny little flowers, I think. Yes, I do. I think I just had, the yellow ones. Okay, so and then I thought, right, I'm going to do a bit of stenciling because I'm going quite vertical. There is a lot of white space, which I'm fine with, but I felt like this stencil would work really, really well. So this is the one called Distressed Shards. It's like a big sunburst, really. And then I'm using the Distressed Oxides in mustard seed and cracked pistachio. So that's the cracked pistachio now, bit of a tongue twister there. And then I'm going to blend in the mustard seed, which is the more yellowy one. So over that. So I mean, as always, I will cover a chunk of all of this up, but there's enough. Because it is quite vertical, I don't cover up quite as much as I maybe normally would when I've done any stenciling in my background. So yeah. Okay, here we go. I'm bringing in the yellow, the mustard seed now. I'm not going to make you watch me do all of the stenciling because it takes a little while as I'm blending it through. But yeah, you'll see how it looks in the next one. There we go. And I did add some splatters as well in the mustard seed. Right, so I've got my 3 pattern papers. They're stuck together, and then I can now get those onto the background and then start to get everything really stuck down now. So I've got my 2 photos, which I backed in the pattern paper. It's called Summer Fun. It's the yellow. So yeah, I've really pulled out all the sort of bright colours that I think felt worked really well to complement the embellishment kit that I'm using quite a lot of elements from. As always, I've raised my photos. Well, I say as always, I don't always do that, but most of the time, I've raised my photos on the top edges only with foam pads and then left them flat at the bottom, mainly because I am layering up over the photos and I'm adding sort of clusters around them. So, yeah. And then I can go back and start to sit everything back down, and then I can get things stuck now that I've sort of worked out what's going where. My big top tip is when I always play around with, with my embellishments and ephemera. When I'm happy with it, I'll take a photo. So often you might see me leaning across with my hand. It's because I'm turning my other phone back on to see what I'd previously done. So yeah. Okay, so I'm still fiddling around there with that paper clip. Can't quite decide where it's going. Anyway, as if by magic, here we go. A few more things are now in place. I've got the little fabric tab, I should say, which I thought with the blue, it actually went really well because of the blue in my photos and then the touch of blues in the starfish and the flip-flops. So initially I wasn't sure if it would work, but actually I think it worked really well. Okay, that one I'm just there. So it's like a friendship bracelet. It says blue skies on it, and it was definitely blue skies this day. It was absolutely glorious. And then I'm just adding the So Sunny banner. Oh, they're the flowers. They're just the little yellow ones. I'm just tucking in under the side there. And then just getting all of these other pieces stuck down. And you'll see that I was just curving up the edges. I'm adding glue just to the center, like I always do, just so that I've got that really nice dimension when I can, curve up well, in this case, the crab legs. Got the cute seagull up the top there. And then I've got all the little like sort of button and charm pieces that I need to stitch on. So I'm just going to punch my holes here with the paper piercing tool, and I'm going to stitch them through with the blue thread actually. So very similar blue to the tab at the top. As always, I got way too much thread, but I was trying to go, oh, I'll save that one, then the next, then the next. But I always end up with too much, and then I end up getting into, right old tangle and knots and what have you. Anyway, we're getting there. Again, I won't show you me sewing all of these on because obviously it takes a few minutes, but you know what I'm doing, so you'll see them all. Here we go, as if by magic. And then I had this little bit of white lacy trim that I'd used some of it on a previous layer, and I thought I'd just add a little bit on just down the side of the orange pattern paper there and just tuck it under the edge. Again, it's just about adding a different texture to the layout, which is really nice. And and there's lots of textures now because I've added the fabric patches, the fabric tab. I've got the silver charms and the buttons. So yeah, there's all sorts of textures along with your typical, scrapbook collection pieces like the ephemera. Then I've got the decorative brads, and this one says fun in the nice bright orange. So that gave me a pop of orange in that left cluster there because I've got orange at the bottom right and I've got that orange pattern paper at the top, but it felt like I needed a bit of orange there on the left. And then I've just got some of the smaller ones that I'm just finding a little home for. And then I'm sort of almost done. I have still got my title to work with, and this is here. So look, I've got this one. The beach bum comes with the embellishment kit, but I just could not put a title that says beach bum with a photo of me on it, I'm afraid. So it did match really perfectly, but I was like, "Oh, I just don't think it works. It wasn't quite right. So I'm going with the chillin because that's exactly what I was doing, sitting there enjoying myself by the sea and people watching. So yeah. So they're from the foam stickers, and I'm just looking at these little the phrases. I don't add them in the end actually. I'm fiddling around here with them, but I leave them all off. And then I think I'm almost done. I mean, I am fiddling around a bit, but I think I'm pretty much done. I will obviously add my journaling off camera underneath the title. Here we go. And then here's the final layout and all of the close-up details. I really loved working with the Simple Stories Sweet Summertime collection. It's colourful, it's bright, it's perfect for your summer holidays, but anything. It doesn't have to be beachy. You could be at a park, you could be, yeah. I've really loved working with it. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you again soon. Bye for now.